Rahim. Now I'm recording. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the most merciful. Today we will talk about the energy, the work and energy from our notes. Tamam. Now we have in the beginning. This is the very beginning, the very beginning point. Tamam. To be understood, the difference between the work and the energy, and we can add also the power to them. Number one, what's meant by the work? The work, okay, the famous definition of the work is when a force acts on an object to cause motion in its direction. طبعا it's correct, ما فيهوش حاجة، لكن it hides the most important point or side of the real amazing idea. ايه هي؟ In fact, all what we said is not a description of work. The description is situation. Like, what is the work? The work is something amazing Allah Azza wa Jalla created in our life. The work is the energy transfer. The energy transfer when a force moves an object. هو ده. This is the best definition of the work. وللأسف إن هو rarely used. Okay, so this is the work. It's the energy transfer when a force moves on an object. Okay, that moves an object. يعني simply ببساطة شديدة جدا, the work is a way of the four ways to transfer energy. تمام؟ طيب, Mr. Explain more. يعني for example, مثلا, I told you if you push something, okay, يعني if you push any object in front of you now, push any object in front of you now, what will happen to this push, to this object? It will move. ما تجيش تقول لي بقى انا زقيت الحيطه وما اتحركتش، لا, يعني ايه, some movable object. Okay, so it will move. It means before motion this object was at rest, so its kinetic energy was zero. After applying your force on the object, it moves, so during motion it has kinetic energy, so there is kinetic energy gained by this object. So it means when you did this work, okay, you transferred energy to this object. From where you transferred this energy? In fact, from the food. From the food? Yes, because we told us, I told you last period that when we eat food, in fact, the food has chemical energy. I repeat this point frequently. Food has chemical energy. Fuel has chemical energy. Battery has chemical energy. These three things have chemical energy. Okay, so food has chemical energy. This chemical energy is transferred to your body, okay, during the biochemical combustion that happens in your body, okay, in terms of heat energy to your body. طيب, after that, this energy is used by your muscles, okay, to move the object. So you transfer. Type to move the object, you did work, okay, so this energy transferred to this object as kinetic energy. So in fact, the work is this amount of energy transferred when a force moves an object. When a force moves an object. تمام جدا. So ببساطة, to talk about the work, we have two things in the situation. طبعا الكلام ده في الاو ليفل, لكن في third factor في الليفلز الاعلى. Okay, two things, force and motion, يعني distance. تمام. So to find the work, we will multiply the force times the distance. So the work equals force times distance. Simply, it's a piece of cake. Okay, and the work is also equal the change in energy, because the change in energy is the transferred energy. يعني for example, the object that you pushed a few minutes ago, okay, was its kinetic energy before doing work was zero. When you did work, kinetic energy became 20 joules. It means that the work you did is these 20 joules. Okay, so the work can be calculated by two ways. Number one, if we know the force at the distance, we will say it's the force times the distance. If we know the change in the energy that happens to the object that's affected by the work, okay, so the work is this change in energy. Fine. So what about the energy? The energy is the ability to do work. تمام? If you remember last period, we talked about the kinetic energy and the potential energy, okay? And we said that the kinetic energy equals half mv squared, okay? Half mass times speed squared. And the gravitational potential energy equals mgh, which such that m is the mass, g is the free fall acceleration, and h is the height from the reference level of the ground. تمام? And we said this mg is the weight, so we can say the gravitational potential energy is also the weight times height, okay? Because the energy is the ability to do work, and the work is the amount of energy transferred, so by blah, blah, blah. So both have the same measuring unit, which is joule, which is equivalent to Newton meters and equivalent to kilogram meters squared per second squared, as we also proved last period. Now I'll talk about a very important point. When work will be zero, يعني when will work be zero? Okay, when work will be zero, the work will be zero. طبعا if there is no work, if there is no sorry, if there is no force here, if there is no force not work. معلش طبعا انا عملتها باستعجال. If there is no force, طيب, so if there is no force not work, okay, if there is no force, تمام, او if there is a force but the force doesn't move the object, يعني some guy مثلا is pushing the wall, تمام, ممتاز. طيب سراج, معلش I'll unmute you please. سراج, في حد في الويتنج روم اسمه علي عايز يدخل؟
Yeah, I don't know he is waiting or not, but Ali Usama is one of us.
طيب علي أسامة. طيب ممتاز.
I have a question.
طيب لحظة يا علي, لحظة. طيب حد يشوف علي أسامة دلوقتي يقول في الويتنج روم ولا لا؟ يسأله لو في حد بيقدر يتواصل معاه.
Okay, I will ask him on WhatsApp.
طيب ممتاز. اتفضل يا سراج, اسأل سؤال.
We will have paper 2 and 4 and 6 in the mid-year.
شوف يا سراج, أي حاجة أنا ما قلتهاش يبقى مش موجودة معانا في الامتحان, تمام؟ لأن إحنا زي ما أنتم فاهمين إحنا بنشتغل في ظروف الأونلاين ديت برضه بتخلينا الوقت قليل والناس بتضيع وقت وما إلى ذلك, تمام؟ فأنا شرحت من بيبر 6 إيه لغاية دلوقتي, شرحت يعتبر حاجتين هتعرف تحل عليهم, يا إما هوكس لو يا إما البندلوم. ممتاز. اكتر من كده مش هتعرف تحل حاجه في بيبر 6 لسه, يعني انا حتى الاكسبيرمنت اللي هي بتاعه اللامينا لسه ما شرحتهاش بتاعه سنترال ماس, تمام؟ انا شرحتها في وسط الشرح بسرعه لكن ما اديتهالكوش يعني مكتوبه وكده, تمام؟ فاي حاجه شرحناها موجوده معانا, اي حاجه ما قلناهاش اطمن مش موجوده معانا, يعني اي حاجه لسه ما قلناهاش اطمن مش موجوده معانا, الا لو هقولها قبل الامتحان طبعا, تمام؟
Okay, thanks. Ali Usama didn't respond to us.
طيب خلاص يبقى مش هو, يبقى احنا نشيل اللي مستني في الميتنج روم ده, في الويتنج روم, وبعد كده يخش يسمي نفسه باسمه كامل بعد اسمه. تمام. So here number two, يعني now we are asking ourselves when will work be zero, تمام؟ قلنا أول حاجة if there is no force. The second point is if the force exists but it doesn't move the object. يعني someone pushes the wall, okay, and he tells me, oh, my muscles are so tired, wallahi, I am trying to move the wall for 24 hours مثلا يعني, okay, So I did much more work. لا, in fact, he didn't do any work. انت ما عملتش work اصلا. Because you exerted force, لكن you did no motion, so there's no work. طيب, if the force is perpendicular to the motion, تمام? Oh, be careful. This is a very important point here. If the force is perpendicular to the motion, the force doesn't do work. تقول لي ليه؟ Now we have force and we have motion. So why don't we say the force that made this motion? Because it's perpendicular. يا جماعة مفيش force, مفيش perpendicular force, no perpendicular force move the object. مفيش الكلام ده مش مظبوط. Okay, يعني for example, let me give you an example. There is some guy like this. Okay, this is some guy. تمام, هو عامل دايت بس شوية. Okay, this guy is carrying a bucket مثلا. Okay, this guy is carrying a bucket. Okay, this guy is carrying a bucket and he's moving in this direction. طيب, can I ask you, if someone says, Mr. Here there is a force of gravity. The force of gravity is acting downward. So this is the force of gravity, which is described by the weight. Okay? Force of gravity. Can I say here, the gravity does this work? هنا, this is the motion. Can I say here the gravity does this work? لا طبعا. So the gravity here is perpendicular. So the work done by the gravity is zero. So here the work done by gravity equals, the work done by the gravity equals zero. ليه? Because it's perpendicular to the motion. Because it's perpendicular to the motion. طيب, let's have another example. If we are talking about a satellite, this is the satellite. Okay? Or the orbit of a satellite. Okay? This satellite is rotating around the planet. So this is the planet. Okay? ممتاز جدا. This is the planet. Okay? And this is the satellite. Can someone say, Mr. the gravity here, or the centripetal force here, okay, which is responsible for rotating the object, تمام, does work? لا طبعا. لأن the direction of rotation is along the tangent. Okay, so here also the work done by the gravity equals zero. So in these two cases, the work done by the gravity هنا and هنا is zero. Why? Because the gravity is perpendicular to the motion. Because the gravity is perpendicular to the motion. Okay? طيب, I'll explain the power, then I'll listen to your questions about this part. تمام؟ عشان بس يبقى خلصنا bulk. Now we'll talk about the power. What's meant by power? Power, in fact, is the time rate of anything related to work or energy. يعني the time rate of doing work. The time rate of transferring energy. You have to remember, transferring energy معناها transferring. It means transferring the energy from a point to a point. But transforming energy means transforming energy or changing energy from a form to another form. Okay, they are not the same. Okay, so transferring energy from an object to another object, or from a point to another point, or transforming energy from a form to another form. Okay, the time rate, if you remember that we said the time rate means what? Means that the event that happens in 1 second. Yani time rate, it means any event that happens in, sorry, the time rate means anything that's happening in 1 second. So this is the meaning of time rate. Okay, so here time rate means something happening, something something which is happening in 1 second. 1 second, or not only 1 second, يعني unit time, in unit time. يعني if we use SI تبقى 1 second in SI system. Okay, this is the meaning of time rate. يعني it means that the work done in 1 second, or the energy transferred in 1 second, or the energy transformed in 1 second. So to find the power, we will divide the total energy, or the energy done, or the energy, the work done, or the energy transferred, or the energy transformed. We will divide it over the total time, okay, to find the power. Okay, so here P is the power. Delta E is the change in energy, which is equal to the work also, if you remember. Okay, this is measured in joule, and the time is measured in second. T is the time. Okay, but the measuring unit of the power is watt. So this is the measuring unit of the power. It's watt. طيب, جميل جدا. So from this argument we can conclude that number one, joule, note that number one, watt equals watt, which has the symbol W, okay, equals joule per second, equals joule per second. But we remember that joule equals Newton meter, so we can say it equals Newton meter per second. Okay, so we can say it equals Newton meter per second. Type kilogram per meter per second squared, so we can say it equals Newton meter per second, or equals kilogram meter squared per second squared divided by second تبقى second cubed. يبقى meter squared, sorry, squared per second cubed. Mr. From where we got these points؟ اهو عشان بس لو انت ناسي اهو. We said that, look at this, huh? We said here, we said the joule equal Newton meter equal kilogram meter squared per second squared. So what is joule per second? يعني we will put second here in the denominator here. Newton meter per second. Kilogram meter squared per second squared per second يعني per second cubed. Okay, let's go back. So this is the first point here to be said. طيب. The second point here, how can we increase to increase the power? طبعا to increase the power we have two main methods. From where يا مستر؟ From the formula, مش هنخترع. From the formula. Okay, number one, increase the work done, okay, or the energy transferred or transformed نمبر 2 خد بالك بقى، نمبر 2 دي مهمه جدا. shorten or decreasing the time. This gives us a very important point. If the same energy, if the same energy is exerted in 2 time intervals, in 5 seconds, and it's re-exerted again in 10 seconds, in which case the power will be larger? In case of the shorter time, because here if you observe that the power is in the numerator, but the time here is in the denominator, so it, as t increases the power decreases. Okay, خلاص يا جماعه، ممتاز جدا. Now I finished what I want to say about the power. طبعا في فورمولا ثانيه للباور لكن هي مش علينا في منهجنا. تمام. Now I'll take your questions to answer your questions. I pause the recording علشان نقلل طول الفيديو على قد ما نقدر، علشان ما يحصلش انزعاج ليكم وانتم بتراجعوا. اوكي، I pause recording. ولو لقيت سؤال مهم هفتح الريكوردنج تاني. Okay, now we will record again. خلينا let's clear the screen. طيب خلاص قلنا ده. methods of transferring energy. يا جماعه بصراحه البوينت دي, this point is very important and it's lost in يعني in the existence of يعني the IGCSE mind of many students. تمام يا اخوانا ارجوكم. Methods of transferring energy is a very important point, and this is emphasized by the syllabus. We have 4 methods of transferring energy. One, by doing work, which can be said as by doing mechanical work or doing mechanical working by forces, and this is the one that we explained a few minutes ago. Okay, طيب خلاص, we explained the first point. When a force acts on an object, it moves it, so it gives it kinetic energy. So we transfer the energy in terms of mechanical working. The second method is by doing electrical working or by electrical currents. يعني how? Let me give you an example. For example, remember, I repeat this inshallah Rabbil Alameen frequently, كتير. We have 3 things store chemical energy. The food. Number 2, the fuel. Number 3, the batteries. Okay? طيب. Batteries اللي هي electrical cells. طيب. All these things. So now I have, if you catch your mobile phone, you will find a battery inside it. ممتاز. There is a battery. ممتاز. So now you want to transfer the energy which is stored in the battery to the mobile phone itself to make it work. Okay, so how can you do that? When you connect or put the battery, it produces electrical current. This electrical current passes through the circuits inside the mobile phone, so the mobile phone works. Okay, so here we transfer the energy from inside the battery to the phone by the electrical current. Okay, this is an example, and here we, in front of us, we have another example. When a current passes through a lamp, it emits light and heat. In fact, we have current energy, we transfer the current energy to the lamp, and the lamp gives us light, which is useful work, which is useful energy, okay, and the heat, which is not desired energy. طيب. Number 3, by heating. When, for example, by heating, طيب, I told you the fuel has what, dear mister? Has chemical energy stored inside it. ممتاز. We want to use this energy. Why? To get useful form of energy. احنا مش هنعرف نعمل حاجه بالchemical energy when it's stored in the fuel. We will not look at the fuel and say, oh, fuel, it has chemical energy. What's amazing kind of energy? لا, we want to use it. So we will take this fuel, for example, and we will make some kind of combustion or burn them. طيب. Then it will release this chemical energy, it will change it to thermal energy or heating يعني. Heat, thermal energy means heat. So we will use this thermal energy to heat water or huge boilers مثلا. Okay, so they will produce what? They will produce large amount of steam. تمام. This steam is vigorously or is moving fast, so we'll expose this steam to turbines. These turbines will rotate, so they will make some things called or systems called generators to produce electricity. So we released this energy and we transferred the energy stored in the fuel in form of or by what? By heating. Okay. Well, and this is also the idea of the engine car. This is the idea of engine car, by the way. خلاص. We have energy stored in the petrol or the benzene. Okay. So we using heating. Okay. We release this energy and use it in moving the car, or by waves like the energy of the sun. It travels approximately 150 million kilometers from the sun to us in form of what? In form of waves, electromagnetic waves carries the energy of the sun. Today, I'll stop here, inshallah, Rabbil Alameen. And next period, inshallah, we will talk about low consumption of energy the efficiency, inshallah, Rabbil Alameen. Next period, we will finish the energy. And this week, inshallah, we will finish the portion. Thank you, everyone. And I will stop recording now. If you have any question, you can ask.